Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game that we're making. Okay, first things first, I want to thank Demolition King for the follow here at Twitch. I definitely appreciate that. I saw your follow earlier, but I kind of forgot to say anything, so I'm saying it now. Thank you for the follow! With that in mind, we need to resume our progress. When we last left off, bad things happened to Buttertown and we headed into the next scenario. Basically, like the PlayStation 1 era, where games had multiple discs like Final Fantasy. It's basically like that, but with memory cards on RPG Maker. It's kind of funny that I have this pleasant music playing right now given the circumstances. So we're going to go ahead and get this transition going. Right now... Actually, first things first, back out. We are still on, technically, the second scenario card. We need to go ahead and save that so that we can go ahead and load back up the first one. I'm gonna have to be really careful about how I handle this. I might want to create some, like, backups and stuff. In fact, that's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and create a couple of backups. One or two. How's the memory management going on here? Yeah, I can afford to create 2 backups. So I'll do that, and then I'll load up from slot 1. That's how I'll try to remember this. Card 1 is on slot 1, and card 2 is on slot 2. So let's load up before I removed all that data. And I'll create backups of it. So that's been loaded up, which means if I resume, we'll be right at the end of card 1. Here's how this is going to work. We'll have this cutscene. And a card 1, would you like to save? No, not right now. And here's this message where we can't change scenario. But you know what? Screw you. I still have control. Now that that cutscene has ended, I'll hit the quick save button. And then what I'll do is load up card 2, which is still named card 1, which will trick the game into thinking that technically we still are on card 1, which means I'll be able to resume from here and proceed onward with the game. But I'm gonna need to do some things here. Yeah, a couple things. The very first thing I should do is get the camera back where it needs to be. So not only change the screen back to normal, since we came from having the screen black, we need to also get it back to its correct position. So we are successfully onto the next card. The changes that I have made are in fact made. Everybody's a skeleton and we can kind of wander around. That thing still works like that. We're gonna have to kind of fiddle things around here. Let's get some plot going, shall we? Because it's kind of important to know why this town has been burned to a crisp. Actually, first, this is bugging me. Let's change this to the big ol' other thing. Instead of a message box, a message smear, whatever you want to call it. Alright, now, let's go ahead and find out what the heck is going on here. Because I'm sure y'all have been wondering that for a while. A floating... Hold on a sec. castle flew by and dropped a metric ton of lava on us. And there we go. That's the plot. But just for some more flavoring, he... more mad, but being skeleton is way better than being appeared. I'd imagine it would be. We actually do want this guy to start if we check him, by the way. It's kind of important to be able to talk to him. And also, something else I should totally do. Whenever we start this scenario up here, some of these switches we're no longer going to be using. The switches from the first card, because they kept track of things so that they wouldn't repeat. Well, on this card, they wouldn't repeat because they're not even on this card. So we can go ahead and reuse some of these. So, switch 1, we can go ahead and turn off. No, wait. No, the switch 1 is this thing so that we know whether it's flipped on or not. Okay, so no. That one we definitely do not reuse. So let's see here. Switch 2 we can reuse because switch 2 is when we got the key. Switch 3 is when Jenny joins. Switch 4 is when the dragon joins, which is entirely possible to skip the dragon for the time being and not get it until this card, so we want to still have 4 enabled to determine whether we've gotten it before or not. So from there, switch 5 was the phone situation, which could still happen. Same with the 6, that's also the phone. Switch 7 determined that we got the boat, which is needed for the world map. 8 is whenever we exit a building. 9 is the eye stick. 10 is unblocking the lava. We had to unblock the lava in order to get onto this card, so we can go ahead and shut that off. We don't have to worry about that repeating. 11 is also the dragon. 12 is checking if we've equipped the scale. So really, through this change, we're only able to reuse 2, 3, and 10. Not that I actually need to reuse switches. As a reminder, you could have up to 500 in your game. But this is just for demonstration's sake. This is what you would do if you were creating a larger game and used up a whole bunch of switches. Some of them you can go ahead and reuse. So with that in mind, let me go ahead and copy-paste my switch information on my notes. And I will make note to reuse 2, 3, and 10. And in fact, we're going to reuse number 2 right now. No, we're not. No, we're not. Are we? Let's see here. Yeah, let me see. How do I want to handle this? Yeah, okay. I do want to reuse switch number 2. Because that's going to affect our exit here. Because before talking to the guy, we'd wind up heading to the world map version we've always been to. But now that we found out about that floating castle, that will allow us to move on to the new version of the world of Steve. Allow me to demonstrate. Hopefully demonstrate. I'm assuming I have programmed that correctly. So if we try leaving right now, here's the current version of the world map. But once we talk to this guy, he'll tell us about the floating castle, which means the floating castle is now there. I kind of wouldn't have minded if the castle wasn't hanging off the ledge of the floating island, but unfortunately that's the best I can do. It's either that or having it floating above the ledge of the floating island, and that would be redundant. That is redundancy that wouldn't be as funny. That would be redundancy that is sloppy and distracting. By the way, now's the opportunity that I can finally show you what using the blimp is like. That's what using the blimp is like. It's kind of neat. And again, this blimp graphic is only available on the world map if you happen to have the blimp item in your inventory. So what else do I want to do? Well, you probably are all wondering what the deal with the dragon is, so let's go ahead and fix up the dragon. We're going to have him activate when we check him. And he's going to talk to Darastrix. You fighting fire with fire? Because after all, we're dealing with some fire-based enemies, and Darastrix is a fire-breathing dragon. Is dumb. Alright, I'm gonna head back into the Inferno real quick because I want to have a little bit of consistency with dialogue. How do I have the dialogue here in the Inferno when we meet Darastrix? You are cool, I will make you cooler. Alright. All in the same box there. That is dumb. Eventually I noticed that. I will make you less dumb. Assuming we can spell dumb correctly. So, what we'll do now is we're going to use a new function. A skill function. Basically, this allows us to change job classes. This is how we're going to allow Darastrix to go from being a dragon to a spit dragon, which will immediately allow him to learn Water Breath, since that is set to level 0. That means it'll be learned instantaneously thanks to being able to equip that. And just to make sure, yeah, only Deristrix is able to learn it. It would be kind of weird if the monkey and the nurse could also become spit dragons. Cool, but not really ideal. Now, I just want to check page conditions here. I want to know if there's like some option here. No, there's no option to know whether you've actually changed job classes or not. That is not a thing you can check. So, he's always going to give this dialogue even if we change job classes. Oh, well. New. To don't get your hopes up here. Sorry. We'll say dumping. Insert joke about burn wounds here. Okay. And just so that we're actually having the dragon talk to Deristrix, we're also going to move party, gather and put the dragon in the lead here. Party members move to front, Deristrix. Come to think of it, there is the possibility that the player could have not had the dragon join, so having this dialogue here would not be helpful. So instead, what I'll do... add page to the front. This will be if Deristrix is on the team. If Deristrix is not on the team... Oop. And okay. I am keeping things cool after that dumping. Now, let's go with A, B. Help. Did you find him yet? So that's what we'll do. And from here, let's go ahead and quickly do some things inside the shop. The first thing I'm going to do is change the graphics of all of these items. Because this place kind of got burned, so naturally we're going to have things on fire here. What graphic do I want to use for the fire? I want to use graphic 42. Okay. Except for the shoe. That's going to be like the one thing that hasn't caught on fire here. Wall items aside. And something else I'm going to do is actually... Well, first things first, this guy needs to be a skeleton for sure. And it was pointed out to me by Wario Land Gold Pyramid that I never gave the shopkeeper dialogue. I would go back to the good version of town and give him some dialogue, but I made it a rule that I can't do that. We were done with the town and I had to move on. So I'm going to go ahead and give him some dialogue now. I'm going to have him say... I guess... as... ton... it... make... sense... that I talk. In fact, I want to kind of do something else here. For reasons. We're gonna put it like this. Because there's something I want to bring up while, before the end of the stream here. And that is the fact that this sentence here is kind of split apart between two pages. When I'm making a game, I try to make sure that the entire sentence would be all on the same message window. That way we have one complete thought on screen. Whenever we have, like, whenever it's split apart like that, there's a chance that I personally might lose track of what's being said. In fact, if any of you have watched me for long enough, you know that, yes, I do in fact tend to lose track of what people are saying, especially whenever the dialogue gets kind of lengthy and stuff. So that's why I try to keep things all on one page, entire sentences. But if we have a situation like here where can't help it, the sentence does have to be between two pages, then what I would actually do is use the comma to separate them. That way, even though the sentence is separated between two boxes, at least we have two halfway complete thoughts, rather than just randomly the sentence is cut off in the middle because there was no more room in the dialogue box. That's just how it is with me, though. Personal preference. After all, I have trouble keeping track of things, what people are saying. Like, how often have I forgotten what somebody said, like, 10 seconds after they mentioned it? I'm pretty bad about that. Also, kind of a joke that this guy finally talks, but he talks about not talking because he's a skeleton. Funny thing to do. Let's get that on both pages here, the one with and without the thief. So, we're definitely making some progress here, and I think at this point it is time to go ahead and bring this stream to a close. I need to kind of go over some things off camera to make sure everything on the first card is correct, because basically anything that is on both cards I'm going to want to make sure are consistent on both cards. is what I'm gonna have to do. And also that piano situation. I would really want to make sure the dun 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 is as on key as I can get it. With that in mind, we are done for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on Monday.